Hey everyone, my name is Kenny Coleman and I'm a Senior Technical Marketing Manager at VMware. In this video, we are going to do a quick technical overview of Tanzu Standard Edition. This is not intended to be a deep dive on the individual products, but instead we're going to take a high-level look at the components so we can get familiarized with them that will allow us to get started and learn more. Tanzu Standard builds on the foundation of Tanzu Basic Edition by going further than just Kubernetes lifecycle management. Tanzu Standard brings capabilities beyond vSphere by enabling a consistent Kubernetes experience across clouds, managing those Kubernetes clusters in a consistent fashion, and improving the security and governance using policy management at a global level. Tanzu Basic Edition delivers all the necessary components required for a production-ready Kubernetes cluster running on vSphere. This includes the Kubernetes substrate with all lifecycle management functionality, the container networking integration that satisfies east and west networking, a highly optimized load balancer that will take care of layer 4 north and southbound networking, and a container registry to store, secure, and manage all your container images. And Tanzu Standard Edition includes these components, but adds more platform support and additional features. Tanzu Standard is supported on multiple infrastructure platforms, including vSphere, AWS, Azure, VMware Cloud on AWS, and more. More underlying infrastructure support will be added, so please check the documentation and the VMware interoperability matrix for the latest updates. Tanzu Standard Edition adds ingress controller support to allow load balancing at layer 7. And lastly, the global control plane brings further enhancements with fleet-wide policy management, observability, conformance and diagnostics reporting, and backup and restoration with a graphical user interface. Tanzu Kubernetes Grid is the enterprise container runtime that utilizes Cluster API to enable full lifecycle management of Kubernetes clusters. Tanzu Kubernetes Grid, otherwise known as TKG, is supported in two ways. With the use of the Tanzu CLI, TKG can deploy and manage Kubernetes clusters across any supported infrastructure. vSphere 7 brought a new capability called vSphere with Tanzu. Within it is Tanzu Kubernetes Grid service that is also responsible for Kubernetes cluster management running on vSphere as a part of workload control plane, or also known as WCP. As a customer, you can choose how to run TKG because the same outcome is achieved either way. Both offer a simple and highly automated solution to managing the lifecycle of Kubernetes. Tanzu Kubernetes Grid achieves operational parity on any supported infrastructure. Managing Kubernetes clusters running natively on AWS is the same as managing Kubernetes clusters with your on-premise vSphere environment. Each is a self-contained regional Kubernetes environment that can be managed and operated independently. Tanzu Kubernetes Grid utilizes the Kubernetes APIs to achieve a desired state configuration. Through the use of the open source tool of Cluster API, the creating, updating, and deleting of clusters is completely automated. TKG is heavily aligned to the open source community, and everything is built using the best-of-breed open source solutions from the Kubernetes ecosystem. By having a supported Kubernetes distribution that is aligned to the upstream distribution, any Kubernetes application or primitives such as deployments, operators, or custom resources can be applied to a Tanzu Kubernetes cluster without worry. This allows VMware to deliver new Kubernetes versions faster, so you always have the most recent, tested, and integrated Tanzu Kubernetes release. Harbor is a registry that does more than just containers. Harbor is a graduated project in the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, making it a stable project right alongside Kubernetes. It's built using the Open Container Initiative, or OCI, and this allows storing, managing, and securing of multiple types of cloud-native objects, so not just containers, but also Helm charts and cloud-native application bundles, or also called CNABs. Harbor has an image vulnerability scanning framework that interrogates and scans images manually or based on a schedule of your choosing that can look for and report on critical vulnerability exploits. With multi-tenancy in mind, Harbor is able to secure images using role-based access control and making sure objects are stored between namespaces. Built-in replication allows Harbor to not only replicate images to other Harbor instances, but images can be pushed or pulled from 10 different image repositories, including Docker Hub. Harbor can verify that users don't use more space than they should by enforcing project quotas and image tag retention policies, and these are only a handful of features that come with Harbor. And Tanzu Standard Edition provides everything needed to satisfy container, layer 4, and layer 7 networking to achieve multiple levels of network communication and access to your applications running in Kubernetes. By default, Antria is the preferred container networking interface plugin that will take care of east and west networking traffic between containers and pods in Kubernetes. Antria uses Open vSwitch technology as a consistent data plane, but if needed, Calico is still supported as a plugin. If an operator requests a service type of load balancer, one will be provided through Tanzu Kubernetes Grid's integration with multiple infrastructure providers. This process is automatic and will perform all the necessary operations of talking to the load balancer service or controller, provisioning a load balancer, and tying it back to the Kubernetes service that was deployed. When using a native service such as AWS, an elastic load balancer will be provisioned. When using vSphere, there are multiple types of load balancers that can be configured, such as NSX Advanced Load Balancer or NSXT. IP address space is valuable, and that's why many people choose to perform load balancing at layer 7. This gives the operator the ability to use only one IP address, but route to multiple or even hundreds of different application endpoints using that one load balancer. Contour is an open source project that comes with full support in Tanzu Standard Edition. Contour uses Envoy, another highly regarded open source project, as its control plane and provides dynamic reconfiguration and secure ingress delegation. Global or fleet-wide management is the capability brought by Tanzu Mission Control, also known as TMC. Tanzu Mission Control can inherit Tanzu Kubernetes Grid clusters to do provisioning and lifecycle management through its intuitive graphical user interface. And Tanzu Mission Control can also attach clusters from any Kubernetes instance, including native Kubernetes services from other cloud providers or even OpenShift or Rancher. With observability across all of your Kubernetes clusters, the clusters can be categorized together based on any variable of your choosing, such as environment types, dev, prod, or staging, or by business unit. Policies can also be applied to any Kubernetes cluster, whether it's in a category or on its own, and that can be through managing user access as well as supplying security policies that address things such as privileged containers. This gives the operator control to simplify its operations by not having to manage clusters individually. Lastly, Tanzu Mission Control provides backup and restoration services using another open source project called Valero. Valero can do persistent storage backups to any S3 compatible data source of your choosing. Tanzu Standard Edition also comes bundled with Tanzu Kubernetes Grid extensions that are open source projects which come with VMware support, and these take care of critical Kubernetes management aspects, such as log forwarding, observability, alerting, and more. Thanks for taking a few minutes to look over Tanzu Standard Edition. To learn more, please make sure to check out more videos and demos to get a further deep dive, including the VMware hands-on labs and test drive.